All right. Good morning, guys. Let's invite the community on here really quick. Okay. There we go. All right. What's up, guys? How you doing? Mike. Good morning, man. Noah, how you doing? I am feeling a lot better. Yeah. Yesterday I had like motion sickness when I woke up. The Tom Strock. What's up, man? Lou. Forget about it. What's up? Aladdin DAO, if possible. Okay, we can look at Aladdin. Already throwing a request in there. Yeah, Bitcoin's dumping. We basically double topped at a value area high. We've got I tried to long back into this range yesterday and I got stopped out on that one. We got basically what ended up happening here. So we came up when we ended up using the valley area, the previous valley area high and the active valley area low as resistance, and it confirmed as resistance when we got this lower low here. And that basically told us that during the time of the rejection, we simultaneously got acceptance into this previous valley area right here. But right now, we're at the valley area low. So I'm preparing for potential confluence to tell me I can enter along. I just got to wait for the structure. And right now, we don't have the structure, but we're at the area of confluence where we're kind of grabbing up the liquidity. We're at the valley area low. So it's just a matter of waiting for the actual price action to define that this is being honored as support. So if we get like a change of character occurrence, like right now it's way up here, but if we can define more reversal structure here, it actually could be a good spot to prepare for long to target back up to these highs again. We got these previous lows here that we use as support, previous resistance here that we're gonna have to watch along the way, but ultimately can potentially target back up here again. Last time we were in this valley area, kind of behaved the same way, right? We came up from after uptrend, we came back down and we used this previous area of demand as support, and we came up and we double topped here. And then we basically defined this valley area as like basically what's going on over here. And we built another double top. We're coming down. Last time we came down to this area, we also had a bounce. So it's just a matter of like validating that bounce first. We got to get double bottom structure or change of character occurrence, kind of like what we did last time, right? Change character occurrence. I entered the long there too. Let's see if we end up getting something like that here as well. If not, then we'll likely just keep continuing going down. We have another valley area here that we could fall down to. We have a previous valley area high at 106, where we can anticipate that to act as a form of support. But again, if we get acceptance within it with a break of structure, continuation, then we could fall down to its valley area low at 104,000. So yeah, right now, we don't have any evidence that we're going to reverse yet, but we have some confluence here that if we are going to get a change of character occurrence, that it is likely going to induce a short-term reversal. So I'm kind of waiting to see if we get that kind of structure, and then we can potentially take action on a long. But if we don't, then we know that if you're in any shorts, you can hold your shorts at this point, right? But this is a good spot to prepare for potential warning signs to get out of any existing short positions. and potentially get into some short-term longs. PPI data in 20 minutes. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, that's awesome. The DXY has been getting his butt kicked a little bit lately. It's at 97 now. I'm going to take a look at that right now. So the DXY, if you go to the hourly, yeah, so we got a new low generated here. If we zoom out, let's go to the daily for a second. Like this is a key level that you technically didn't want to have broken, and we broke it here. We got a bit of a bounce. Then now we're getting that continuation. The next key level for the DXY is around at 95.77. If we break that, then we could fall down to 91. But yeah, the DXY is looking weak, which normally gives us a bullish response on Bitcoin. But if there's sell pressure happening at the same time, it doesn't need to cause the price action to go up, obviously. Right? So Bitcoin's a little overheated while the DXY is like simultaneously going down. But yeah. So yeah, the DXY is looking bearish, which in turn will make Bitcoin typically more bullish than bearish. But yeah, we're getting some sell pressure in. So let's go back to Bitcoin here. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see what kind of results we get from the PPI and how it might impact the price action, but it'll probably only be a short-term impact. Okay. Oh, Andrew, talk about ChatGPT zone. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like using ChatGPT, giving it a screenshot of your price action, see what kind of zones it gives you. You can use it as confluence. Call it like ChatGPT confluence, right? You never should take action just on what ChatGPT says, obviously, but if you are seeing it as, if you're using it as an indicator, just like you would use the RSI as an indicator or the value area low as an indicator, it's just one rule you could potentially apply where you could say, I will not enter longs unless I have a change of character occurrence in a ChatGPT zone. Like, and breaking through a VWAP. We should have like a whole bunch of rules and not just like listen to just one rule from ChatGPT, but it's kind of interesting. Yeah, Wagner saying that Ethereum volume is insane again. Yeah, I think it exceeded Bitcoin's volume yesterday. Yeah, let's take a look at Ethereum too while we're here. But yeah, basically, guys, right now I'm preparing for a potential reversal here, being at a value like a previous value area low, and scooping up the remaining liquidity in this area. There's a potential that we could go range bound here for a little bit. And I'm not going to be going as crazy as like potentially targeting the value area high. I'm going to be really mindful of like 108.6. We've had, we got this like impulse move here after we created a base, another impulse move. So we got a supply concern here off the previous low. So that could halt our ability to reach this value area high. I'm going to target the value area high, but I'm going to manage my risk. And I'm not going to enter the trade unless I have a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio to this primary barrier in case I need to get out. So that's, if I'm forced out of the trade, it won't hurt my net R&R if I have the expectations of reaching this area. So that's kind of what I'm preparing for. So yeah, right now, this is our change of character level on the 15-minute at 107.985. So what I'm hoping for is this kind of posture where we might come up, bounce, get a lower low, then break that area to get the change of character occurrence, and then run up from there. Alrighty, so that's what I'm waiting for Bitcoin. We're actively bearish, but I'm preparing for the reversal, basically. If we don't get it here, then I'll be preparing here at 106. $106,012 basically at this previous value area high. And if we don't get it here, then basically 104 is the next level to watch. But yeah. Good afternoon, AJ. What's up, man? The only time I did that was when they made up the last pump. Oh, cool. All right, so let's go through some requests here, guys. I got until 9:30, and then I'm going to jump on a call with the community. Let's see what we have. So we had the very first request was from Noah. Talk about Aladdin DAO. Now, I don't know, what's the ticker on that? When I think Aladdin, my very first thought is the AI system used to help manage BlackRock's capital. Mike encouraging people to like. Thanks, man. ALD. Okay, cool. So we'll look at ALD, then we'll look at Tau. So ALD. I think it might be the first time I've done analysis on ALD. I haven't heard of it before. We got listing on CoinEx and Gate.io. I'm going to look at it on Gate.io because I know it's a little bit more safer to trade on. Yeah. Ooh, dude. Okay. Well, let's take a look at and see what it looks like on CoinEx. A little bit better, but not great. There's like barely any liquidity on this. It's not exactly a frictionless asset. This thing's all over the place. Well, based on this price action, it's going to take a little bit more than TA to find out if this is a good asset. You're going to have to like do research on the team, the website, the tokenomics, because like this is almost untradeable. You can invest in it, but I wouldn't trade in this thing. So based on what I'm seeing here on the daily chart, this thing's been around on this at 673 days, really. Jeez. Okay, so yeah, right now we got past this little supply concern here. We had a golden cross. We are starting to stack some divergences here, but it's not anything too critical. The next area of concerns up here, at 9 cents up till 13 cents, I'd block this whole zone and see if we get a negative like change of character occurrence, like an opposing change of character in this zone. We got past this area of concern already. I don't even know how well value areas would work on an asset like this. Let's mark here. So what we left here. Yeah, that's not really dependable. Yeah, that range is massive. But yeah, man, based on what we can see from this chart, we grabbed liquidity from these lows, we double bottomed, we ran up, we kind of melted right through all these little concerns along the way up where we could anticipate sellers to have residual orders there. But yeah, we're on our way to potential all-time highs. Like based on this chart, at least we're getting close to its all-time high. We've got a lot of like volume gaps along the way up, so we should theoretically make our way at least up to this area where we can participate potential opposing change of characters to reverse back down, and we could come back to land our feet at 5 cents again after like potentially getting a rejection around here. So I think this run might be short-lived. Like we're getting close to the end of it before we start cooling down. If you're not a buyer here trapped, then you're likely a buyer down here waiting to get out at an area of confluence like around here. Yeah, that's all I've really got for you for this thing. This thing's really blocky in the lower time frames. Like it's not really that safe to trade. If you look at on the hourly time frame, we could see that we have like either like I think we just have absolutely no volume, or we have insane buy and sell walls that halt the price action. And I think it's more likely just a lack of volume or lack of interest. So until I think this thing needs a market maker, because it doesn't seem like it has one, that this is mostly retail activity. So when this thing gets a market maker, I think it'll be a lot more safer to trade. But until then, it just looks like it's retail buying and selling. So be careful with this one, man. This might be something that you're really early on, but it has been around for a couple of years. It does have like some decent price action for something that might not have a market maker. But yeah, play it safe. I'll do more research on the asset itself to see if you think it's going to have like an impact in the future. Because sometimes it takes a little while for assets to get to pick up, right? Even though this one's been around for a couple of years, it's doing pretty well considering it doesn't have. I don't think it has a market maker. I honestly don't think it has a market maker. It's interesting though. Okay, going back to the Bitcoin chart, and we had a request to look at Teo. Teo from Caliphant. So we'll take a look. I'm just going to zoom in on Bitcoin, see what it's doing. Sorry, I just sneezed. We're good. We're all live. Face and blow off. All right, let's go to Teo. I think we have a Teo chart. We do. Okay. Last time we looked at it was on June 6th, so about 6 days ago. What were we looking at? Clock is ticking. Oh, let's just delete that. Let's see. So last time we looked at was this long, right? We were looking at this downtrending momentum. We were watching this key level. We wanted to have it broken. We're at a, we jumped into a previous valley area here. It did a pretty decent run up. Like I could see reasons to be concerned here. And we hit our head off it for a little bit, came back to retest the valley area high, used the valley area high as support, and then ran up to a previous valley area low. And now we just recently double topped, kind of like Bitcoin did. Let's see. Now where we were falling back down to. We're falling back down to this previous high here. Potentially, we're seeing it kind of honored as support. We had an area of interest here before in the past, before we legged back down. So here we could potentially induce a potential reversal. I would feel a little bit better preparing for a reversal down here at this previous value area high, but we can't always choose where it's going to slow down. Our key level for reversal is here. There might be front run opportunities, but this is the key area of interest here. Now, if Bitcoin loses this area of confluence and falls down to this previous value area high, I can likely see Teo doing the exact same thing. Right? If we don't get this break, we'll probably just come down and hit the same area of interest, the previous value area high at 377. If we break this area, you do have to watch out along the way up off this area of interest here, where we built a supply concern. There's potential residual orders here that you got to watch out for. And I wish by default you can, I wonder if there's a hotkey for setting things backward, save some time. Anyways, we should mark this as a value area up here. And we should mark our previous value area low so we can watch it on the right-hand side price feed. So at 407.30 could be a potential target for this long, but this would be our primary barrier before that's possible. So if we end up getting an opposing change of character here, this is actually an area where I would anticipate us to go range bound. So if we break this low and we end up getting opposing change of character here, this is when I would start pulling a value area and prepare for this to go range bound in this area for a bit, either for a continuation down or for a potential stronger reversal back up. But yeah, right now, key level for a 15-minute level here is at 398.10. We kind of need to get a little bit of a lower low first before it's actually considered a change of character occurrence. But it would be in a current confirming double bottom if we break that level. We get above the VWAP. But yeah, I'm afraid that it might be a short-lived run. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to be a big influence over that kind of move. But yeah, I'll be preparing for longs on tail. It might not happen here, but if we don't get that confirmation for reversal, then we could prepare for it over here. But that's Teo. I hope that helps you out. Here's a Teo chart if you need it. I'll put it in the comments on the YouTube side. So anyone who's watching on Twitter, yeah, I can only comment on the YouTube side using StreamYard. So if you want to get access to the Teo chart so you can look at it, I recommend jumping over to the YouTube side for a sec. We got a request for Skate from Cheo. What's up, man? How you doing? Okay, Skate. I don't think I've done TA on Skate. Let's take a peek. It looks relatively young for TradingView. They don't have their logo imported yet. I got Bybit as an option, so it's probably the one I'm going to choose. Yeah, Bybit and Femex, BitGet, they would have likely the best liquidity for this asset. So take a look at Bybit. See what on the hourly. No dinosaur over here. So there's a chance that this might not be the full price action of the asset, but yeah, this thing is too young to do anything based on this chart. Like all you got is two value areas. If this thing just launched, it most likely had an imbalanced ICO event that's causing it to go down, which is like 90% of crypto launches, unfortunately. And the VCs could be dumping it. But yeah, here we could get potential SFP off these lows. In that case, you could prepare for, if we get the SFP, you could prepare for a potential long to the range bound high. If we get the change of character, the lower low here, this would be our key level. We haven't got the lower low just yet. You're trading against the VWAP, so just be aware. The deviation of the VWAP is a good way to, you can long into a VWAP, but just know that the VWAP is pretty strong. So just watch out for potential resistance off of it, especially when you have the confluence of the supply concern right here alongside it. But if we get past this, it kind of gives me Teo vibes in the sense where, like, if we get past this, we can come up and start targeting the value area high and bonk our head off that, right? Almost identical, like, kind of vibes. But obviously, Teo has a lot more history than this asset does. So be careful trading this one. I don't know much about it, but this thing seems young enough based on this chart. Like, I might be wrong. There might be more history than what we're seeing here. But based on this chart, you might want to do more research on like what it is first, then prepare for a potential like more macro reversal move. Like, we got downtrending momentum here. We could go range bound here for a bit. But if we get enough like structure to find a strong reversal, then you could find the actual floor value of the asset for a little after it establishes a proper low. That's what I'll be waiting for. Otherwise, every time we get a break of structure, you're getting price discovery. And price discovery levels, look at rounded numbers. It's hidden right on your trading view chart. So if you see these horizontal lines, those are all psychological levels that are marked for you, like rounded numbers where people will tend to just type in their limit orders, right? And then you can verify that through the order books. Like where on the order books are there a large amount of buy orders? And they're typically around psychological levels, especially when we're in price discovery. All right, we're getting a bit of a bounce now off our area of confluence. How's a 5-minute look? All right, we got a 5-minute change of character just come into play now. So the 5-minute's starting to flip bullish. We got some distance away on the 15-minute. See if we hit our head off the supply concern here on the 5-minute. Reject off the momentum, come down, and see how it reflects on the 15-minute time frame. And maybe we'll get a change of character occurrence here to help us with our long. Okay, see you, Andrew. See you, man. Okay, so we got Skate, we did Teo, we did Bitcoin. We should probably look at, we got a DOT request. So we can look at DOT for Oscar. We should definitely look at Ethereum before we jump off today. DOT, what are you doing? DOT, we looked at this 2 days ago. Wait for it to render. There we go. Okay, so last time we looked at it, we were looking at, there's more macro potential move back up. We're worried about this supply concern. That's likely why I have it drawn. We had a double bottom break. This is a 4-hour. Yeah, it's a 4-hour change of character occurrence. We're still got some distance away from a strong low, so still technically bullish on the 4-hour. Kind of nasty pullback though after getting that break. Let's go from our low to our local high here. So you can see what kind of fib levels we get. Around $3.96 is the golden pocket. We're tapping off a previous value area low. Where'd that value area low come from? Zoom out a bit. Just want to see how strong it is really quick. I think it's disconnected from here, so it's inaccurately placed because TradingView's value area data has been constantly gets thrown into a blender whenever you move stuff. Now, whenever you change timeframes. All right, so this is a macro value area low. Seeing that would have helped you be more aware of potential barriers. When you have a macro value area low, you gotta think of it as like a strong level of support, but when you're below it, it can act as a strong level of resistance. We kind of hit our head off that and we came down. So it's looking a little bit it's looking a lot like Bitcoin in that sense where we built a range. It's not a double top. We built a regression trend along the way up, but they are more likely to break to the downside. And then we confirmed it here as resistance a lot more clearly, probably on the 15-minute time frame. See a lot of dojis there. So it came up, got the break of structure. This was like the confirming candle. Then we started this downtrend. And now we're starting to potentially double bottom. With our neckline being here. Our momentum pretty steep. We're breaking momentum now. So that gives us that basically tells us that the pace of the sellers have shifted and the buyers might be taking over, but we still got to be cautious. We got to prepare for. We want to see this break, confirm a support, and then we can run back up, watching this as a supply concern along the way. This is where we went range bound. There we go. Yeah, so just see if we get the double bottom break, preferably with a pullback first or a pullback above here. So you can use that break of structure as a stop loss guard, because using this as your stop loss guard, unless you got in down here, it's not going to be very safe to try to trade that. The momentum-based target would likely just bring you right to the supply concern. Yeah, bring you right to the supply concern. Then you got to prepare for a potential reversal around this area. So that's DOT. Next request was Karma from Wagner. Let's take a peek at Karma. You got to pull up Deck Screener. Oh, it saved my last fixed range pull. Okay, so yeah, Karma just recently bounced off of its value area low right here, where we got a double bottom here, double bottom here, double bottom here. We love the double bottom off the value area low. Typically, when we get that double bottom, we have a rotation back up to the value area high, which is right here. It's evolving value area high. Now you can have your fixed range volume profile evolve as well. It's just a couple of settings options that you can get on your trading view. So like if you were, let's say for example, you did it from here to here, just go to your settings. And where'd that option go? Oh, there we go. Under style, you see developing POC, developing value area. So you can have your POC, you can see how, like based on the poll, you can see back in the history of that range and how it developed. And so again, our second example here, we'll change it to green for a second. Like let's make it yellow. It's easier for you guys to see. That's the POC. Developing value high. There we go. This helps you study like how value areas mature. But yeah, basically, you can have your value area high and value area low kind of evolve like this. And it shows you like what led it to this point where this became the value area high and then this became the value area low. Going back to Karma. But yeah, so for me, like the target before I am expecting exhaustion is around 8 cents. Right now we're at 6 cents. That's about a 32% move. That sounds like a lot, but it takes a very, very, very small amount of money to move Karma because the supply is only like 7 million. And it's still pretty young on the market cap side. It's like 408,000. So from here to here is where I expect exhaustion. We do have a little bit of a supply concern along the way up here. You can expect some potential buyers that might be trapped, or maybe they DCA'd in. But around here, you could potentially prepare for sellers, which is like almost flush with the value area, the active value area high right now at 106.9. So yeah, 106.949. Yeah, I'm still bullish on it right now. If we get that higher high, I'm going to evolve my momentum draw from here to here. But right now, based on the current structure, this is a break of its momentum. And we could potentially spark a downtrend from that. But I'm more optimistic on this thing. We just hit our head off of, we've cleared these order blocks here, cleared the supply concern, and we just, on Bitcoin, just hits head off the trending momentum. So from here, hoping that we get a pullback, get a lower low, and then we can define this as a good 15-minute level break. So I tend to prefer to trade off 15-minute structure. So I'd rather have 15-minute structure to help define a long. So I'd like to get a lower low so we can prepare for a long at this level here. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Green candle, all in. No, don't jump in on a green candle. ONDO, next request. Let's see what we have. ONDO just got an aggressive bounce. We're breaking down trending momentum, internal momentum from here. We got a 5-minute double bottom right here. Let me just pull out a horizontal array. Okay, I was just seeing if we grab that low. Right now we're hitting our head off the VWAP in confluence with the supply concern here. So we might get a pullback. If Bitcoin like follows through with this pullback, then ONDO definitely will. So just watch out for an opposing change character here, guys. So if we end up getting like a change character here, currents here will likely fall back down to at least these previous lows here. A369. And then maybe we'll get a bounce off the momentum and reversal from there. But yeah, right now I'm thinking that we might slow down just because of the fact we're at the VWAP and we have the supply concern, confluence. What we reach up to 91.68. Geez. Yeah, last time we were looking at it was here, the falling wedge, change character, ran up to its target, and then we started to fall from there. We can delete that though. We don't need this anymore. Looks like we were hoping for a long here, but it never confirmed at this valley area low. Delete that. Instead of confirming, we end up getting a rejection off the uptrending points of interest in confluence with the active valley area low right here. And this looks like we were marked an area for, because we deviated away from the valley area. We might have potentially prepared for a reversal and confluence to break past the valley area high again. But again, we didn't confirm that one either. Just kept running away from us. Let's see. Looking a little bit like DOT in the sense where we had this double bottom posture. We broke past it, but then we had this regression trend that brought it down. Same way DOT kind of did. If we zoom out on DOT, right, we had this double bottom posture, macro change character currents, regression trend, and pullback. Exact same thing. We should pull a fixed range from the supply concern here. Let's readjust my settings to get rid of that noise. There we go. And yeah, we got acceptance back in, so I'm going to evolve the fixed range pull. So we got some confluence here of a volume shelf right here on the valley area that led into the point of control that we got a bounce off of. We have some confluence for this bounce. Now that we have updated our fixed range volume profile, you can see why we might have lots of interest in this area like we did previously in the past. But if I were to mark a target based on this regression trend, I mean, this descending channel that we just broke out of, you got to visualize the order flow. Where's the liquidity at? So we have liquidity that was just taken here. That could be used as exit liquidity. That might be enough to induce a pullback for at least briefly. And then we have liquidity here. and here. But ultimately, when it comes to these kind of targets, it's where liquidity ends. And that comes in confluence with the value area high. So I'll be watching around 86.80 for a potential rejection, with this being kind of like the boss that we need to beat in order for us to get there. Is virtuals done? We haven't just yet. Pierre saying on the 4-hour chart, seems we have unmitigated fair value gaps from 106,800 to 105,700, and from 103,100 to 102,100. I think I'd see here. You're talking about the 4-hour chart. We have a gap here. It's really small. $168. So below us, you're looking at. Okay, that makes more sense. So here, yeah, you're right. So if we lose this level, we could likely free fall down to at least 106, and then you're talking about these areas of concern over here. We have some gaps down here too. I can see that. Yeah. So I think that if we're going to mitigate this fair value gap, it would come alongside with us losing this area of interest, but we'd likely bounce after filling that gap. I'm not too concerned about the ones down there, but if we get acceptance in this value area, then we can start paying attention to it. But like fair value gaps are good for confluence when you're trying to get into like burst trading, and trade sets will be executed and completed fast, right? Let's see if we get a reversal finally, or if we're going to consolidate. Virtuals. Okay, let's take a peek at virtuals. We have a virtuals chart. Let's see. Last time we looked at it was 2 days ago. What were we looking at? I think we were looking at a short. Yeah, this short over here on the 10th. I don't know why I have this double drawn. Yeah, so for this short, we had the reasoning for it, if you guys are curious. It didn't play out very well. We had a head and shoulders posture at a value area high. We had our change of character currents right here, right? And then we had our break of structure confirmation here. So entering off of that, I have 2 long short position tools out too. It's weird. Yeah, after this, we had this area of concern along the way down. We really wanted to have acceptance into it so we can target the previous point of control is what we were looking at, and potentially the value area low. Instead, we broke momentum here, and then we got an opposing change of character. So that would have been your warning sign to get out. So you would have gotten out a very small gain or very small loss, depending on your entry. Going back, I can delete this. Looks like it's like virtuals did what we kind of want virtual ONDO to do, right? We have this bit of a descending channel, double bottomed. We hit our head off a supply concern, pulled back, and then we end up eventually coming up to almost hitting that complete target until here where we did, right? This is where the liquidity basically ends. We grabbed it. Now we're coming right back down pretty aggressively. Massive engulfing candle on the 5-minute. So like, yeah, what ONDO did, what virtual did, we want ONDO to do, right? And its positioning is the same as it was on virtual. So you have your stop loss guard here, but emotionally, this would be kind of tough for a lot of people to hold when you see like stuff like this coming against you up until that target. But stop loss wise, she would have been able to hold this throughout the whole thing without getting stopped out. In terms of structure, because of this whipsaw event, like there's nothing really safe I can give you advice on for like helping you with your trades. But other than that, like we do have like this uptrending point of interest here. We're at a value area high, like a previous value area high. It looks like we are fractalizing potentially. Like we had like this inverse, there's head and shoulders here, right? And then eventually we built, or looks like we're starting to build a larger potential head and shoulders, which would help us drive the price down to this previous value area low. If you hit the measurable base target, if it were to confirm and the momentum were to be maintained, because it's a pretty aggressive target down to like 177.81. However, we have a lot of barriers along the way. I do want to clean up this chart a little bit. There's a lot of noise that might not be necessary. We got this value area low here. I would keep that one. We're basically trading off this value area right now as we speak. It's flush, almost in confluence with this value area. I'm going to get rid of this value area low. The main concern from this value area here, based on the data, is this point of control. We have that confluence of this point of control. We have confluence of this previous POC. They're flush in line. So if we break past that, I have no concerns that we'll likely break right through that value area low like it wasn't even there. And then we have this more macro value area low here that we could watch and monitor at 188.47. Let's move this back down here. I'm not sure why it's... Again, this is what I mean. The value area data is being adjusted constantly when it shouldn't be. That everything should be fixed. So yeah, so if we get the confirmation of this head and shoulders posture, then I'd watch the point of control along the way, but ultimately target 188.47. And this is pretty strong. So manage your risk based on this being your primary target. And if the risk reward ratio isn't there, then I would just stay out, look for a safer trade. But hopefully we get some kind of pullback first, because having this much negative space, you're not going to have a really safe stop loss guard for that kind of trade. With that being your barrier, you'd want to have at least a pullback here or a retest here. If you get a retest on the lower side, you might not have the R&R you need. But if you get a pullback first, you might have the R&R you need using that as your stop loss guard. So trade safely with this one. Cookie, how you doing, man? You've been crushing it, man. Doing really good. Watching you in the Discord. There we go. We got that pullback that we wanted on Bitcoin. All right, so we need just one more candle at least. Break this low, right? And then come up, break this high. Give us that 15-minute change of character occurrence. And then we're set. We can prepare for our reversal. Based Hawaiian's asking, what exchange do you guys use? You're deciding between Kraken, Coinbase, and Uphold Gemini. I could see the trend based on the ones you're picking. Depends on where you live, or depends on what kind of fees you want to deal with. Coinbase, they're insured on all their cold storage funds. Kraken is insured on all of their funds. They are considered legally as a bank. I don't know much about Uphold. Gemini is pretty good. But yeah, man, if you're picking between those ones, I'd maybe say Coinbase has more tools for traders than Kraken might. I just created a Kraken account like a week ago, so I don't have enough like knowledge on it to say like if it's good for like short-term trading or what your goal is as a trader. If it's like swing trading or investing, then they're all pretty much good for that. But if it's like scalping, they're all pretty bad for that. For like scalping and stuff, you'd want to have like a something that won't absolutely obliterate you in fees. Like Coinbase is pretty rough on fees. I don't know much about Kraken and fees, but I know Kraken's safe. I know they have 1-to-1, at least on all their reserves. They're being audited all the time because they're considered a bank. Coinbase is kind of the same thing. They're stared at a lot by regulators, especially since they're a public company. But if you had those 4 options only for some reason, I would say Kraken or Coinbase. Just focus on one of those 2. I do have a Coinbase link down below but it'll give you like $10 for $100 worth of trading or something like that. Nothing crazy, like $10 worth of Bitcoin. They don't have very, very good options for like affiliate deals for people for signing up. If you're interested in scalping, I'd recommend like Blowfin or any of the trust exchange links that I have down below. If you're looking for like short-term trades, like what we're preparing for right now, that way you can save money on fees using a link and stuff. Oh, we might get that lower low. I got about 30 minutes left. I'm not sure if this will confirm before I have to leave for the call with the community, but we will be jumping in a trade hunting call together with the community, so we might be able to jump in this trade together during that. It's about a 2-hour-long call. Okay, so Hypnotoad is saying Kraken does not allow you to set up stop loss and multiple take profit levels on spot. That's a big red flag. So if you can't use a stop loss and you can't manage your risk, so unless you're using alarms and if you don't wake up to those alarms, then you could lose a lot of money. Nabita throwing out the exclamation points. What's going on? Do you need help with something? What else we have? Can you please check the question about dumping each Thursday for the last month? So you're saying there's been confluence of Thursdays having corrections over the last month? That's like, okay, Kelphant does say there's stop loss on spot from Kraken. Maybe there's been some changes since Hypno has been on it. I remember like some exchanges like didn't have like basic features before in the past. They have been like updating some stuff. So there's always check. Cool. Oh, you're brand new. Welcome to the community, man. So you started the Bitcoin rabbit hole a week ago. Yeah, you're fresh. It's so there's a lot of scams in the space. Be very, very safe. There's just like in anything. Never give away your keys, even if they're pretending to be support, or they'll take your stuff. I don't want you to learn the hard way like every single person else here probably did. And just like myself, yeah, it's rough. Play it safe. I'm glad you're looking at those kind of exchanges first. Like those are really good ones to start with. Like Coinbase was the first one I ever used, and I still use it today to get my funds out of crypto. But yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, what Kelphant said, be careful. There's a lot of streamers out there that will just try to get you into doing scammy stuff. So just be super safe. Matthew says, don't do arbitrage. That's a tough one I can't really agree with that. Like arbitrage, you need to do a lot of research before doing arbitrage. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically when you're looking at one exchange, and you see it for like a low cost. Let's say Bitcoin's like $1,000 cheaper on one exchange. You could buy it there low and then sell it on another exchange at a higher price. That word, it can be used in different ways. So maybe he's talking about something else, but arbitrage is actually a pretty easy way to make money, but you need to do a lot of research on the exchanges that you're choosing, or else you could end up losing everything. They could lock your funds, stuff like that. Cookie saying Coinbase costs $30 a month and you trade for 0 fees. I don't know if you read the fine print on that, Cookie. I recommend reading the fine print on that because it's not worth $30. It's like $30 a month for 0 fees, but it only covers up to like $30 worth of like trades. So all they're really doing is securing like $30 a month in their pockets. I'm skipping your comment. I'm skipping your comment, Brian. Yeah. Here, I'll put it on the screen for everyone to read. Yeah. Brand new to the space. So everyone's like in awe right now. They found a unicorn. Yeah. Pierre saying a lot of people try to attract you, promising great rewards, join their websites, connect to the wallets or whatever. Avoid doing this. Yeah. At no point should there ever be a reason for you to like input someone else's seed phrase or for you to give your private keys or anything like that. There's literally no reason. There's not, even if they created the token themselves, they're claiming they created the token. They don't need it to help you with stuff. No one needs your keys or private keys to help you with anything. Like everything can be done through a Explorer system to find out the information that need to find out, like BSC scan or Etherscan, stuff like that. Speaking of Etherscan, let's look at Ethereum. See what's going on there. It's been waking up a bit. All right, so we retested the value area high as support. We ran up. We hit this uptrending point of interest. We kind of dipped out for a little bit. What time frame is this drawn on? Doesn't seem to. Okay, it mostly looks like I drew it on the hourly. So we dipped out of it on the hourly. Double topped. Got our change of character occurrence right here. When we came up. Yeah. So you're saying that you're brand new to the space, Hawaiian. I know, like when I say stuff like change of character and value area high and stuff like that, it might seem like completely different language because it kind of is. But the more research you do on the market structure, it's going to help you a lot with understanding when things are likely going to reverse or when things are likely going to slow down, stuff like that. For example, here we had this support bounce where we can anticipate this acting as a form of demand alongside with the confluence of this value area high. Since we got that change of character occurrence, I'm expecting for us to come back down to 2,650 for Ethereum. We could potentially go range bound here. We do have this immediate supply, the demand concern here. That could potentially induce a reversal and maintain this as its own value area. With us currently being at the value area low. Bitcoin, what are you doing? All right. I just want to see Bitcoin get that lower low, hopefully, before we come back up. We have this wick down here. I think we're probably going to come down and just at least grab that. We also have the liquidity down here as well. We can look at the liquidation heat map and see what Ethereum looks like. 2 days. All right, last time we were down here was around 2 days ago. So we want to include that inside the heat map. Let's go to symbol. Then we're going to go over here to the right and we're going to look up Ethereum. Our 24-hour is mostly bullish. We have more liquidity above us than below us. So if you're a market maker looking for an exit opportunity, you'd be looking mostly around here. There's not too much money there, but 2.79 million. But this is a 24-hour, so it's a smaller compilation of funds. Let's go to 3-day and find out what that low looks like. All right, so yeah, we were right about the low. We saw that there was a spike there at the value area high. A lot of people jumped in a little earlier than I anticipated. Where's the? Yeah, there's only an increase of funds like shortly just prior to the confirmation. So people were front running this break of structure with a high amount of leverage and like savages. So down there is kind of like the primary target. So 263892. Can mark that horizontal line. Coordinates 2638.92. Oops, there we go. Okay, so that's where the liquidity is resting from this low right here. So if we come down and we bounce off this value area high, we could just wick, grab that liquidity, use it. That liquidity could be used as buy side liquidity for market makers to help induce a reversal. So that's an area of interest right here. We can mark with text how much liquidity is there so we can prepare kind of volume to expect. 3.04 million, that's still not very much. But relative to the 3-day, that's the most that we have in this area. It's the most amount that was added within the last 72 hours. Okay, so we have a zone of confluence to prepare for longs for Ethereum. We might see relative weakness with Ethereum then, if that's the case. If it follows along with Bitcoin, we still haven't got our 15-minute change of character occurrence. It's way up here. We need that lower low first, and then we can define this as our change of character level. If we don't even get it, then this value area high is where we're watching, right? If we don't get that confirmation of a reversal, then we're watching here as our next area that we want to wait for the change of character on. And that could work well with confluence with Ethereum and its levels. Okay. Yeah, we looked at tail already. And I appreciate you doing the timestamp there, Moo there. That's very helpful. Yeah, so at 1610, apparently I already done tail. But to quickly recap for you, so we have to go looking around. We're looking at the confluence here of potential reversal off these previous highs, trying to use it as support. But we do have a supply concern here that could induce a reversal and potentially make us go range bound for a bit. But if we surpass the supply concern, then our primary target would be up here. That's what we're kind of looking at for tail. I like using Brave Browser AI, Leo. And oh yeah, Pierre's saying you can use AI to help you find out what certain terms mean. Yeah, like ChatGPT is a king for that kind of stuff. Like ChatGPT won't make you a great trader, but it will teach you everything you need to know for the language and the lingo and stuff. I know we're just talking about watching out for certain links and stuff like that YouTubers give, but we do have a course. we have a course down below that could help you a lot with learning all this stuff. And if it's a money thing that you're concerned about and not sure if you're actually interested in becoming a trader, I can make you guys there's a coupon code right now, learn to earn, where you get 75% off your first month, so you can see if you actually enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, then most people tend to stay, because you can actually make a decent amount of income as a trader. There are people in the community that are quitting their jobs to be traders, and there's some people that already have. We've traded millionaires before in the community as well, and yeah, our goal is to try to help everyone get to that point as safely as possible. It's not a race. We're not trying to rush into it. So you won't really see very many flashy posts jump into this altcoin to make yourself a millionaire. It's not like that. What we do is we try to find safe, sustainable trades. We're trying to get at least that 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio or greater, preferably greater, so that you're doubling whatever you're trying to risk, and you got to be consistent with that risk, or else your losses could outweigh your wins. Yeah, not for degens. It's a degen free zone. Appreciate the tips. I subbed. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, the AI has been helping accelerate the learning process. Yeah, I use AI on a daily basis for it turns me into 15 employees. Yesterday, I think I probably did 100 hours worth of work in just like 6 hours, just using AI to help support my work. It's insane. How much capital do we need to be able to make enough to pay the monthly subscription? I would say safely, and you're not going crazy with leverage. I would say $1,000 would be enough to cover your subscription. Think about it this way: if you're trading with $1,000 and you're doing it safely, you'll be risking to lose $10 from that account to gain like $20 to $30 on average from your trades. Right? Now, some people will risk their $1,000 differently. They might risk lose $100 to gain more, to gain like $200 or more. But that's not exactly the safest way of doing it. So this is how I prefer you to do it, so you can cover your subscription that way. But there are people that will risk a lot more with a smaller account. And so I'd rather you do it the safe way. And I'm not going to promise that you're going to be able to do that in your first month either. Because like I could give a signal, for example, I'll pull it up right now. Not all my signals are winners. Like I got an 84% win rate. Like I'll have like big win streaks. And the problem with the win streaks is I notice that people start to like ape in with a lot more money, and then that one loss ends up being the one that costs you, right? Like I try to make my signals very, very easy, like easy to understand. Like a 5-minute candle close above this level, stop loss suggestion, target, right? So you know exactly how I'm planning it. I'll write out why, right? But yeah, this is kind of like the layout that we kind of do here. Right, so I'll have a screenshot. I'll try to show you on the screen what kind of confidence we have, and then I'll put my entry, my barrier concerns, all that stuff will be in there. But yeah, we have good signals, but you shouldn't try to just make money off the signals. Our goal in the community is to turn you into the tool that allow you to make the money yourself. The signals are a great way to make money while you're trying to figure stuff out, but it's but yeah, I don't want you to like count on it, because we want to turn you guys into the trader, right? You don't want to have to depend on these groups and stuff. And we just upgraded the course last night. Now we have a whole new like Fibonacci section to teach you about like Fibonacci and all that stuff. Yeah. Also, Pierre makes me a good point. Really, really good point. There's a lot of, as soon as you jump into the Discord, you're going to get messaged by like 5 versions of me. Okay. And it's never going to actually be me. Now you can message me personally, but I'll never message you first. So please be careful. I'll never ask you for funds. I'll never ask you to put your money on a shady platform for a promise of making, you know, generational wealth or something crazy like that. Whatever they're trying to say to you guys. Just please be careful with the DMs. You'll get an impersonator try to message you. I have my handle in the description down below the YouTube, so you can look at that. But you'll notice that they might change something really small, like my name's like Kyle Chismore, and that's the same as my handle. But they might put like a 0 here to throw you off, or throw in an L here instead of an I, or maybe they'll put an I here instead of an L. Anything they can to kind of make it look like my handle. So make sure you're like very, very cautious about the impersonators and all that stuff. And they're in every community for pretty much every not just in crypto, like it's everywhere. So just be careful. Okay. 222 views. Jeepers. What's up, guys? I think we're close to a record. Oh, it's mostly on Twitter. How you guys doing? Okay, I do got about 10 minutes left before I got to head out. Is there another asset you guys want to look at? Basically, we're still waiting on Bitcoin. We need to get this low taken. Well, preferably, right? We want that low taken. Then we can evolve our change of character key level from here to here. And then we would mark this level as our area of interest. Hopefully we can front run it, but this is going to be an area where we're going to be wanting to have broken in order for us to have a rotation back up. And we do want to try to target the value area high, but we have a lot of interest here that I'm worried about that could induce a reversal prior to reaching that value area high. So I'd mark this whole level here as a barrier concern, supply concern, where if we got the confluence, that kind of like what we're looking for here, but upside down, right? If we get the confluence of an opposing change of character, like a double top right here, then we have to listen to the warning signs and get out early. But this is our primary target. Because I think we can go range bound here the same way we did in the past over here. The 30-minute looks terrible. It looks so bad in the 30-minute. Tweezer reaction on the 15. So whenever you see a tweezer reaction like this, this is called like a lack of acceptance, and they're usually pretty bearish. But it's placement. If this placement was here, I would listen to it a lot more, being at another area of confluence where sellers might reside. But being at a value area low, near like all this liquidity that could be used for buyers to jump in with the least amount of slippage, I'm more prepared for a reversal than I am a short. I would not be shorting around here. Jo, making a good point. Got to throw in some more likes. Well, most of the viewers are on the Twitter side, so they can like on that side, but we won't be able to see it on our side, on the YouTube side. Base saying you're in Hawaii. Not a lot of people into crypto or AI yet. I've been saying for a while that Hawaii should be using their volcano to mine Bitcoin. It's free money, right? So I think Hawaii's got an opportunity to make decent money in the crypto space. Like how El Salvador is doing it, right? So Aaron wants to look at hype. Let's take a look at hype. HPE. Last time we looked at it was on the 9th. Let's see what we were looking at there. All right, we got some key levels drawn. Looks like we were preparing for a short that didn't do very well. I don't think I took the trade myself. Let's see. So hype looks like it's building we had a bit of a regression trend here. Right, those are bearish. We confirmed it as resistance here. We came back up to retest again. Built in the setting. We built a head and shoulders pattern internally there. It's tough for you guys to see. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm sorry if you guys are hearing someone doing yard work outside. Pretty loud. We got head and shoulders here. Confirmation here. We already hit the measurable target for this head and shoulders. We grabbed liquidity from these lows right here, and then we had a double bottom. This is kind of like the same kind of scenario that we're waiting for with Bitcoin, where we grabbed recent liquidity from these lows over here, where liquidity is residing to help big players jump into the market with the least amount of slippage. And hype just did that, built the double bottom, even had the similar tweezer reaction down there too. And we got that break, ran up, broke past the VWAP. Now we're in a supply concern. This is where I'd start getting nervous. If you're in a long position on hype, we've got a value area that we could pull here. We also have a value area that we can pull through this whole entire area. I'm going to pull the macro. So I'm going to pull the macro from here to here. Yeah, now we're at a point of control. There's a lot of interest here for buyers and sellers. We mitigated a 15-minute order block here. It's saying there's a 30-minute here, but there actually isn't. So that might be incorrect. Maybe I'll need to look at the 30-minute and see if it's true or not. Oh, this is the base candle here. I see it. Okay. Yeah, we got 30-minute order block that was just mitigated. Order blocks, for those who are new, are basically just it's like an indicator based on a structural pattern that helps to find that there might be residual orders there. So there could still be sell orders here, for example. And that's why we're starting to get some resistance in confluence with the point of control area, telling us that there might be a lot of investors in this area that could be trapped. So they could be exiting the market. And this is where you got to prepare for potential reversals. Now, this would be your ultimate target right here. But if it's not going to let you get there, I'll listen to the warning signs and get out if we start getting potential change of character occurrence. Hype too bullish. Yeah. Do I use 11x for order blocks? Yes, I do. I used to use Lux Algo, but 9 times out of 10, they are completely wrong. One thing I like about 11x's version is that it is multi-time frames. So it'll pull them on multiple time frames. Like this is a 10-minute one here. There's a 15-minute one here. We just mitigated a 30-minute. So being able to see like multiple time frames saves you a lot of time. You don't have to switch between different time frames and mark them and stuff like that. So if I were to recommend one, I'd recommend 11x. But the thing about order blocks is it's also something that you can just identify with your eye. So you don't technically need the indicator if you don't want to pay money for it. Okay. So yeah, the one thing that does look a little bullish too is the fact that we could potentially evolve our target here. If we get past this point of control, which isn't looking too great right now, but if we get past this point of control and we see the value area high act as support and confluence the break of this neckline, we confirm a double bottom, and they could return us right back up to where we start our fall. Because the measurable based target, based on the momentum, we get our support, we get our neckline, click and drag, and it brings us right to our high. Obviously, being concerned about supply concern here, and then the order block along the way too. Always think about your barriers along the way and don't just assume the target will be hit. It'll make you be able to exit your trades appropriately and not hold them to a loss. Okay. So just prepare for a potential warning posture that things might start to reverse on hype at this point of control, but it's still technically bullish. And I like the fact that we're above the VWAP. So that VWAP, the daily weighted average here, could help sustain the price, hold it up. It's a lot of buyers react off of this, a lot of sellers react off this. So since the price action is above it, you're more likely to see buyers react off of it. All right. Almost getting that low. Oh, no problem, man. Thank you. Okay, I got a request for Sui, Sol, and Kato, but unfortunately I can't get on those ones, guys. I gotta go to the community call. We're all gonna be trade hunting together. Hopefully we'll be able to take this long if it confirms. Remember, guys, just a quick recap. Like what we want to have is that lower low taken, grabbing the newly added liquidity. There might be a front run opportunity for anyone who's got more experience to jump in on something like that. If you want to jump on the safe play on a position of strength, you want to wait for this to break. We do have a point of control in our face, so hopefully when it breaks, we also surpass the POC simultaneously. Then we want to target the value area high, or at least this previous value area low, while being very mindful of this specific supply concern. Because here, we have some confluence here where buyers could be trapped and there could be residual sell orders from this impulse move. So we just got to watch out. If we get that opposing change of character, I'll listen to the warning signs and get out early instead of trying to wait and hold it here. We got the lower low. Now we need to get that pullback. So now we can already start rotating this as our key level right here. So now we have a key level there at 107.429. It might be different relative to your exchange, might be slightly different. Like for example, Blowfin's usually $100 lower most of the time, like $50 to $100 lower. If we keep going down, because that's just as possible, right? That just means we won't have our confirmation for the long, and that we could be preparing for the same thing down here. So we could get that change of character response here instead at this previous value high at 106. Alrighty. All right, guys, I got to head out. I'll see the community in the trade hunting call in 4 minutes. Some of you guys might not know that I'm doing a trade hunting call in a couple of minutes. I'll give an announcement because yesterday I was feeling under the weather, so I pushed it to today. But yeah, guys, I'll see you there. Have an amazing day. I appreciate everyone who subscribed. Share if you can. If you have any friends who are trying to figure out trading, this is a channel where you can ask any questions you want, unjudged. Doesn't matter how new you are. I'll do everything I can to help you guys out. And if you need more help, then you can reach out to me in the Discord. But again, please be careful with the impersonators. I will not message you first. So go into the Discord, click on my name within the Discord so that you actually know you're talking to me and not a scammer. All right. All right, guys. Have a great day and thanks for watching.